So when the reason I came to Kent when I was a very young baby was because my dad, Terry Miller, got a job at Kent State University, and I grew up here and set down roots, and now I'm helping to preserve local history, and just so happy to be part of this community. So really happy to introduce these two speakers. So Terry Miller was a professor of ethnomusicology for 30 years. He started working here at Kent State in 1975, retired in 2005, and he inspired and taught generations of musicians and scholars, many of whom have dispersed throughout the world to do their own work, to study and preserve traditional music. So, and one of those scholars is Andrew Shahriari, who is also here to present. Andrew is also a professor of ethnomusicology currently at Kent State, and they'll tell you more about their work, and so please welcome them.
Thank you, Esther. Thank you all for coming, and thank you to the proprietors of the brewery for inviting us. I'm sitting down because I have mobility issues, and also I turned 80 this year, and having some speech issues, so I'll talk as well as I can.
Can I say a couple things real quick?
Yes.
Okay, so so I'm Andrew Shahriari, as Esther mentioned, and I first came to Kent in 1992, and the first person I met in Kent was that guy right there. He met me at the old Arby's, if you remember, with the big hat, right? And he took me over to, we had a little lunch, what have you. I was a prospective student, and he took me over to the School of Music, and that very first encounter with him, he and the Thai director at the time, Panyal Rungran, they were doing a little workshop for some elementary kids about Thai music. And that's okay, there you go. And Terry handed me a drum, 2 drums actually, and he said, "You play it like this." And he showed me how to do it, and then I was like, okay. And I'd never seen a Thai drum before in my life, and I was hooked from day one. I ended up doing my research in Thailand following Terry's footsteps. So that's my little connection with Terry, at least at the start, and we've worked together pretty well since then, yeah. At least from my perspective. He just can't get rid of it now, that's the problem.
Where our slides go?
They're coming, they're coming. All right. You want to say something more before I go to this slide, or no?
You can do that.
Do the next one. Okay, so just for a second, I'm just going to imagine you all being students in my class on the very first day. Okay, we're talking about what is ethnomusicology, and the usual answer is it's the study of world music in its cultural context, that kind of thing. But I like to start with the idea of that we're basically studying sound and how people across the globe interpret sound as either music or noise. So let me just give you a few audio examples, assuming that it's working, and show of hands, I want to see what you think, music versus noise. So you can close your eyes if you care to here. Show of hands, how many think music? How many think noise? Okay, that's good. Mostly recognize that as music, right? It's got melody, it's got some rhythm to it, what have you. How about this guy? How many say music? How many say noise? It's okay if you think it sounds like noise. No right or wrong answers here. Your perspective. So that's a type of xylophone tradition from Uganda, right? So, but yeah, if you're sensitive, and how about this last one? If I can find it. Oh, that's the one I forgot to put. Let me do this. I think here's the one I really want to play. Music? Noise? Okay, so we're right next. So pitch, rhythm, how we interpret that, the sounds, basically helps us to define what we consider as music or noise. So basically the idea here, like if you imagine those examples as being where that red dot is, at the start you have a perception of music, right? This is how you define music, that Native American flute sound. And maybe the second example fell into the realm of noise. Well, one of the goals that we have in ethnomusicology, we have this basic mantra: music is universal, but it's not a universal language. Meaning that the sounds that you hear don't necessarily mean the same thing to you as they would for somebody from a different culture, right? They have a better understanding. So as we learn about different world musics around the globe, we can gain a better knowledge, a better appreciation, and maybe even lead to a better understanding, and to the point where we're enjoying the music in a way that we can relate to, than by understanding the way other people relate to it. So music is universal, but not a universal language. It's one of our goals as ethnomusicologists to help educate about different musics from around the world. And really what we're doing when we study ethnomusicology, we use music as a starting point, but it's really about learning about culture, right, from around the globe. And consequently, you're learning about the people who create the culture, right? And so this music, it could be medicine, it could be food, it could be language, it could be religion, it could be politics. All the sort of manifestations of culture that you start with in order to better learn and understand other people. So it's about, for me anyway, it's about connecting with other people across the globe through music. Yeah? I don't know if Terry agrees with that or not, but that's what I think.
Okay, excuse me. We make a distinction from musicology and ethnomusicology and world musics. Musicology has been the scholarly study of mostly Western classical music, and based on documents like music scores, letters, books, pictures. And so the primary source material is documents. Ethnomusicology, the primary documents are living musicians, and that requires a different kind of research called field research, where we go to where the musicians are and document them with audio, video, photography, and sometimes living there for long period, even more than a year. And world music considered courses in various kinds of music. And at Kent State, the whole program started really with world music. And that was in the late 1960s. There were courses in African music, Asian music, and folk and traditional music of Europe and North America. Do you want to talk about?
Bimusicality versus,
Okay, yeah,
I mean, I can do it if you'd like.
yeah. You,
So one of the key figures in the history of ethnomusicology is a man named Mantle Hood, and he was a professor at UCLA, and he, felt that one of the best ways to learn about a world music tradition was to learn how to play it. So basically, this idea of musicality being, or bimusicality, similar to being bilingual, what have you. So the best way to understand it was by doing it. And so this practice of playing world music, his students, proliferated across the country. So one of the main sort of world music traditions they could find at academic institutions like at Bowling Green, University of Pittsburgh, University of Michigan, Eastman School of Music, they have gamelan. That was his main thing, is the gamelan. So UCLA is kind of where that started and proliferated across the country. And you have a lot of other types of world music ensembles today. Like we say at Kent State, our big thing is the Thai music ensemble, and that's thanks to Terry. So bimusicality is kind of one side of the study of ethnomusicology, is learning through performance. And then along comes Alan Merriam. He had published this book called The Anthropology of Music, where he said, well, essentially the idea of just the music, we're leaving out a lot of the meaning, right? We have to study the culture and what the people that are performing that music, how they think about the music. So the cultural context in which music is performed becomes an integral part of ethnomusicological research. It's not just about the music and performing it and what have you, but also about what does it mean to the people who create it. So that becomes essential to it, and those kind of become the two sort of pillars of ethnomusicology moving forward. And then the last little bit is about the E-field work. I just popped that on there because, nowadays, it's kind of a shame. I mean, the fun part about being an ethnomusicologist is getting on a plane and flying somewhere and, being in another culture and learning another language and just that whole experience. COVID really kind of, put a nail on it that, a lot of the younger folks doing ethnomusicology today, they feel like they can just do Zoom interviews or watch YouTube videos, and it's become very sort of individualized in terms of interpretation of music and such. And it's valid to a point, but I think we're talking about history here, right? And so the history of ethnomusicology with the emphasis on fieldwork, that's where it's at least for me. And presumably Terry is now, yeah? You don't do a lot of fieldwork nowadays, do you?
well, the field has changed a great deal, especially since I retired. But I'm old school and was much attracted to doing field work. And should I?
Yeah, go ahead.
About how I got into it.
Yeah, that would be great.
I majored in organ at the College of Worcester, but I went on for graduate school at Indiana University in musicology, which meant I was studying music of Europe. And while I was there, I discovered there were other kinds of music. And I kind of started with American shape note singing and oral tradition hymnody. But in 1968, I got a letter from the U.S. government inviting me to join the Army. And they sent me on my first field work to Vietnam. Fortunately, I was at a large Army base, and I started asking myself, what kind of music do Vietnamese have? And I mean, the Army didn't really send me there to do research, but I did it anyhow. And so I had no training in ethnomusicology. I just learned to do it by curiosity. And so I came back to the U.S. and applied for jobs, but didn't get them. And my predecessor at Kent State was Dr. Wayne Howard, who specialized in Indian Vedic chant. And in the fall of 1975, he decided he was going to quit. He had some health issues. And he, on Monday, he said, "I'm leaving at the end of the week." And it happened, he knew me, and his colleague, Richard Schindel, knew me. And they called me up on Tuesday, hired me on Thursday or Friday, and the following Monday, Monday was Labor Day. On Tuesday, put me in the classroom. Dr. Schindel ushered me into a graduate class and said, "Here's your new professor," and walked out. And I had never taught before, and so I had learned both ethno and teaching sort of by the seat of my pants. And but over time we built the program. One reason I was hired was they wanted someone who had done field work. And they were developing a master's degree and also a PhD that combined musicology and ethnomusicology. Students in that program emphasized one end or the other. And over time, we built what I think was a good program, internationally recognized. And we brought in a lot of students from all over the world. Some, they came from Thailand, China.
Pretty much every continent.
Huh?
Pretty much every continent.
Yeah, even Europe.
No penguins.
So,
Just real quick about this slide. So this book on the left is one that Terry and I wrote together. It's we'll talk a little bit later about music as a world phenomenon, of course, that Bill Anderson started. And this ended up when I was still a student and working with Terry. a new book came out, and we just thought, we can't use this to teach about world music. There weren't very many good textbooks. So Terry and I sort of worked out together to write this book, and it's become the #1 world music textbook out there.
It's in 5th edition.
Yeah. And then, there's a talking about the E-field work and such. One of the sort of impetus for that is that there's a lot of focus in ethnomusicology for the last, since the 1980s really, but on popular music study. And at the time when Terry and I were working on this book, we left out, we kind of focused on traditional music for the most part. We left out a lot of popular music from around the world. And so I ended up doing this second book on popular world music. And then Terry is the editor for the Garland Encyclopedia of World Music, which is, I can't remember, is it 8, 9, how many volumes?
10 volumes.
10 volumes.
And they're all each one that thick.
Yeah. So this is the Southeast Asia volume. It's kind of, back in the late 90s, I think, kind of is when they came out.
Well,
And it became sort of the Bible of world music at the time, anyway. So you've got a lot of, this is down in the library. You can talk to Joe Clark about that. This is sort of the go-to encyclopedia of knowledge about world music, at least at that point in time. And that's Terry's book with Sean White.
Thanks.
So this is what Terry's talking about, the sort of start of ethnomusicology in Kansas City.
Yeah. When I came in 1975, world music was already being taught. Dr. Bill Anderson from Music Education was teaching a survey of Asian music and the folk and traditional music. And Halim Eldab, who was an internationally known composer, was doing African music and dance. And I came on in 1975, and my area was Thailand. And that photo's back from the time when I had hair.
Whoops. So, as Terry said, Halim, Bill Anderson, Terry started the program, and then, 1991, Dr. Kazadi came along, 1991.
I think it was 1989.
89, okay, 1989. So this is just a couple years prior to me. But Halim was, internationally recognized composer, busy, high demand, all the time. I don't know if he officially retired or.
Yeah, he did.
Halim retired, and so Kazadi was brought in to run the African ensemble. So he was a professor there for a long time. He retired maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I think it was. You want to talk about the start of the Center for
Over time, a lot of different musicians came, some for short term, some for long term. In the upper right is Dr. Phong Nguyen, who was Vietnamese and internationally recognized musician and scholar on Vietnamese music. He received a National Heritage Award from the National Endowment for the Arts.
And Hillary Clinton and all that.
Yeah, Hillary Clinton handed him that award. And in the lower right, Yoko Tanaise from Japan was a graduate student and taught koto, the Japanese zither.
Yeah. Yeah, I think as a student, you know, in the 90s, the Center for the Study of World Music was still very active, and one of the great things about it was the diversity of different instruments that were in the center, like on display, or you could touch them, you could play them, you could, you know, take an interest that way. And then certainly the different students that were coming from around the world, the you know, Chinese director, the Thai ensemble director and such, and whatever students' interests were, they found a place to be able to research it at Kent State. So you had a lot of diversity in that regard. Our main ensembles at the time, when Terry was there, were the Thai ensemble, the Chinese ensemble, and the African ensemble. I don't know if you want to say a little bit about each.
Well, the Thai ensemble started kind of in 1977. We had a student from Thailand who played traditional music, and we decided to start an ensemble, and we ordered instruments from Thailand, and my father financed part of that. The instruments were delayed. They came in, I think it was April of 1977, and we scheduled our first concert in May. None of us had played those instruments, and we had 1 month to get ready for the first concert. And it was a little bit tenuous, but we managed. And over time, the ensemble improved a great deal. We founded the Chinese ensemble in 1987 when we had a student from from Taiwan, and acquired the instruments with his help. And Helene had African ensemble and dance, and that continued with Kazadi, and it continues today with Janine Tiffy.
Yeah, so I'll start off real quick. So one of the big highlights for me as a student and participating in the Thai ensemble was in 1998, we actually, the Thai ensemble toured the country of Thailand. And that's all due to Terry and his wife Sarah and all their pre-planning, all the people that they've known for so many years to get that working. So this, for me personally, I think this was the peak of our program, was at this time. So.
Well, our director was Banya Guru, and he came in 1991, I think. And so he was our director for 7 years. And by 1998, the ensemble had grown to about 16 or 17 players. And we had a much larger collection of instruments. And he proposed a tour, a performance tour in Thailand. And it was in the summer of 1998. What, 17, 16 people?
Yeah, about that, yeah.
Yeah, we went. We didn't take our instruments. In Thailand, the ensemble played in Bangkok, in the north, in the northeast, and other places in the center. We were on TV, radio, and made a CD out of it. And so we were minor celebrities for about 15 minutes or so. But when we got on the train to go up to the north, there were people on the train who had seen us on TV, and they got all excited, gave us snacks and things.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, these are just a few shots of, like Terry's talking about, this the television studio there, the radio station where we ended up making the CD, what have you. But yeah, this for me, this was actually between. So I spent a year doing field work in a city called Lampang in Thailand, teaching at a English at a school there. And then I came home, got married, and then the Thai ensemble went to Thailand, and then my wife and I stayed there in Thailand for my second year of doing field work there in Thailand. So it was after this tour. And to speak to the celebrity thing, I don't know if the picture there in the back with the white and the blonde hair, that was my wife. And in Thailand, most people have dark hair, so people recognized us from the newspaper, and they would come up to my wife specifically, who was just the ching players, played a pair of little cymbals, right? But they recognized us because of her face, her blonde hair, and all that. So indeed, it was a little bit more than 15 minutes, and it did give us a few discounts at some restaurants. You want to speak to your retirement?
Well,
What year did you retire?
I retired at the end of 2004 and continued doing research. My wife and I, Sarah's there, stand up. After Banya went back to Thailand with his PhD, he proposed that we buy a townhouse next to his. He was teaching at Kasetsat University, and so we got the townhouse, and we've been going there during the winter here ever since. And so I retired in January 2005. Halim retired 1989. Kazadi a couple of years ago. And so a younger generation have taken over the program, and we'll show you the faculty.
Yeah, and actually one big thing that maybe Terry will want to talk about a little bit. So at Kent State, you know, like he said before, we had a PhD program that was musicology, ethnomusicology. And I'm graduate of that program. And then I think it was 2008-ish when the recession came and the university was looking for budget cuts and all that. I remember I was sitting on the faculty senate at the time, and you know, the one PhD program that got cut in the entire university was our musicology, ethnomusicology program, because it didn't have enough enrollment for whatever the issue is.
Well,
So,
I was actually not replaced
yeah.
when I retired.
So the program, as it existed after that, basically it was myself and there was another part-time faculty, Tyler Rounds. I don't know if you know Ted Rounds was the percussion director for a long time. His wife was a specialist in steel drum and music education as well. So it's just the two of us, and Praiwan Naokam, who's the Kyo, the guy there in the yellow hat. He was the one who succeeded Banya for running the Thai ensemble. And the Thai ensemble moved down to the Stark campus. I don't have any photos of that here, but that's how the Thai ensemble managed to sustain itself, was at one of the regional campuses for a long time. So for many years, and with great effort and politics and all that, we managed to eventually get the Thai ensemble back up to the Kent campus, and then was able to get some of my colleagues. You can see there, Janine Tiffey on the right of the green, Jennifer Johnstone, both, Jennifer also got her PhD here at Kent State. Janine had gotten her master's degree here, and she went down to Florida State for her PhD. And so managed to get us sort of back in terms of faculty and getting the program going for a good long while.
The Chinese ensemble ended when I retired. We depended on having foreign grad students direct the ensembles. Well, the first director of the Thai was Gowit Kantasiri, who graduated in 1979, and then Jaran Chai Chongpai who unfortunately, he went back to Thailand, but he died a couple of months ago, or a month ago, and Kazadi succeeded Halim, and then when Janine Tiffey had taken over the African.
Yeah.
And in the right photo, Praiwan Nanomkam, better known as Kyo,
That's in here.
now does the Thai ensemble.
Yeah, so Dr. Kyo, as the students call him, runs the Thai ensemble, and he also does teach them some Chinese music, depending on what he wants to do that particular semester. One thing I'll say about that is that Dr. Kyo is a very, very humble guy, and he's the only, as far as I know, the only full-time professor at a university in the United States that from Thailand is teaching Thai ensemble. I don't know anybody else doing that. He has a very high status within the country of Thailand. People in the know about classical music and such know who he is. And Terry's name carries a lot of weight, not only in Thailand but throughout Southeast Asia, Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, et cetera, et cetera. So Kent State as a whole, and Kent as a community, that Kent State being part of the Kent community, is very well known in Asia. You might not all know that, but a lot of people know about Kent.
Well, the Thai ensemble here is, for many years, was the only Thai ensemble in American academia. There is an ensemble now at UCLA, but
yeah, the only other one is at Northern Illinois University right now. So ours is the longest running of any of the Thai ensembles in the country. The other faculty there, real quick, is Janine with the stick in her mouth on the African, and then Jennifer Johnstone, she's part of a group, Harmony Star. I might want to plug them. She's got a little gig coming up this weekend. But she and her husband, who's an English professor, they play different kinds of popular music and such. She's our main sort of historian, teaches the musicology classes, Western music, that kind of thing. Then we've got a couple of part-time faculty who, Rosemary Herados, she's a specialist in Irish music and early music like Renaissance, medieval music, that kind of thing. And then Lydia Snyder is a specialist in shakuhachi, especially the Japanese music in general. She's also very big into anime music and culture, and so students really love her, but we're very proud of our part-time faculty that we have. Yeah, so they contribute a great deal to our program. And then these are the three ensembles we mentioned today. The Thai ensemble we've mentioned a few times, and the African ensemble that's, there's a student organization that focuses on African dance, and Dr. Tiffy will teach them some traditional dances as well. And so that's become a very integral part of the program. And then she also directs the steel drum ensemble that we have. And that used to be just in the percussion department. It was only for percussion majors, but we've managed to open that up so that it can be anyone who wants to learn. We have actually a few community people who participate in the steel drum ensemble. If anybody's interested. So I threw this slide in here just because I think it maybe brings the Kent State connection more into the town, right? And the Kent State Folk Festival. And, this I don't know as much about it. I don't know how many of you here remember the Kent State Folk Festival. Yeah. So if anybody wants to come up here to the mic and share a little bit, you're welcome to.
Back in the day, the Folk Festival had workshops on Friday afternoon and Saturday afternoon, and the concerts in the evening. And we used to do a lot of workshops there, and sometimes put on the main stage performers. But the folk festival ceased. It was dispersed, and not much of it remains. We also participated in the National Folk Festival when it was held in the Cuyahoga Valley. And the Cuyahoga Valley Folk Festival. But it seems folk festivals have disappeared.
Well, now it's like the Around Town Festival, or I don't know, it's right. I think is this what we're calling it now? American Roots Music Festival. Several different names. So it persists, but during that period in the 1990s and early 2000s, one of the things that I really appreciated as a student is that we would oftentimes bring in world music artists to perform, and that was an opportunity for students to get to see music from West Africa or from a lot of folk music, obviously from the area, but certainly it was a great benefit for me as a student of ethnomusicology to attend that folk festival. And then I don't know if any of you know David Bagnani. Anybody know David Bagnani? Yeah, a few people. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you know much about David's starting the World Music Series at the Standing Rock Cultural Arts Center.
Yeah, but that COVID killed that.
Yeah. But this was again a Kent connection. The idea that bringing world music to a greater audience. And so, how many of you actually attended some of those concerts that David put on? Yeah. So. I don't know what the status of it now is. It doesn't sound like it's happening anymore, but it would be great to bring that back.
Well, David's series isn't happening.
Is it happening?
They just had one Saturday featuring a Kenyan drummer.
Oh, yeah?
Wow.
That's
So they're
fantastic.
scheduled to- And they'll have another one, they had another one Friday and another one Saturday, this past weekend.
Oh, good.
Continue that.
That's good.
A
Yeah.
mariachi band is coming too.
Oh, good. And is David still involved in it, or do we know?
No, I haven't seen him lately.
No, we are, okay, well, I'm glad. So, you know, there's world music opportunities in Kent, which is not, I mean, a small town like Kent compared to a lot of places around the country, to have this much musical diversity, it's just fantastic, the place that you live, to get to hear all that stuff. So, not only at the university, but around town.
How many students you have to have for a course to go, and we don't have enough to meet those, and so the graduate degrees are gone.
Yeah, and this is not just in ethnomusicology, it's a lot of our music graduate degrees have been suspended because of low enrollment. You know, just coming out of COVID, and the idea that basically all the arts, especially music, you know, and theater were kind of shut down during that period. So to get it back up and going to where it once was, just wasn't enough time.
Many of the students came from other countries, and they couldn't come, or they couldn't leave, but we've had students amazingly from even Iran.
Yeah, so this slide is just a few of the more recent students. This student over here, he graduated, he's from Iran. We have a student there from Ghana and one from China. This young lady was of Japanese descent, and again, the opportunity to learn and perform music at Kent State associated with her ethnic heritage. And then Anushka is one of the very well-known, actually, female performer of the sitar, which is relatively rare. She's now down at the University of Texas with her husband who plays tabla, but she was a student here in the master's program. And this is her playing up at the Bop Stop, if any of you have been to the Bop Stop up in Cleveland. So yeah, the diversity of our graduate students, the graduate program, just trying to convince the administration, you know, even though there's not a lot of students, they bring a real key element to the diversity of our School of Music and the sort of heritage of our ethnomusicology program since the 1970s. So it's suspended, we don't know if it'll come back, but we're really hopeful that it will. But it's primarily the undergraduate world music ensembles that we have now. And then also we do a lot of collaboration with the dance department, specifically with the Thai ensemble. One of the big highlights for me as a faculty person, I remember as a student that tour we talked about in 1998, where Terry and Sarah took us as a bigger group. Keo and I, along with Terry and Sarah's help, we were able to take a little trio of students in conjunction with the dance department. They have a biannual trip that they do where they travel and learn about dance in Thailand, and then the next year the faculty will come to the Kent and do a performance on the Kent stage. But our ethnomusicology students at the time went with the dance troupe once to do a big tour of Thailand, have a big cultural tour, and they did various performances, and especially down there in Bangkok. This is actually at the Lakmanang, the city pillar in Bangkok that they were performing. Remember that? With the dancers?
Yeah.
This was actually just very quickly a funny story. Terry, we went to the city pillar, right? And they do music and dance as like an offering to, you know, the gods of the city, right? And it happens throughout the entire day. And we came to show the students this was kind of a cool thing. And then Terry starts talking to the musicians in Thai, and the students are just sitting there, right? And I can understand Thai, so I knew what he was getting at, but he was basically saying, hey, these are music students. Hey, they know the music that you're playing. Hey, would it be okay if they came up and played a little? And like they invited them down and they started playing. This was like one of the big highlights for them that they got to play at City Pillar. Probably the only time in all of history that foreigners played at the City Pillar Thai music. So pretty special for them. And then just real quick, these are some of the kind of opportunities that, you know, hopefully will come again. The trip to UCLA that our students did, they did a big Y crew when they were restarting the Thai ensemble. If you remember I don't know if they do it anymore, the Creativity Fest that was out there on the Esplanade, right? Lots of arts and that kind of thing. Dr. Keo had a Thai petting zoo, so you could come and like play the instruments if you wanted to. And then this was for the May 4th commemoration concert at Severance Hall that the students got to play along with our School of Music ensembles. there. So lots of great opportunities for our students that, you know, like I say, will hopefully coming in. And then you've been watching some of the video between of the most recent concert. These are some guest artists that we brought in from India. And so again, the opportunity to see professional musicians from around the world at Kent State. Like I say, we still have these concerts, you know, so come and fill in the seats there. It's usually one of the better attended concerts. And then this is just our roundup slide. So.